everyone. Thank you for clicking on this video. And I hope you take something from it, even if you don't donate or care or whatever. So, my name is Matt, and I have to start a church. I'm calling it God's Beloved Garden because I think my name, one of my names, Matthew or David, means beloved, and Garth is like garden. I just named it after myself, using the synchronicities and intuitive, creative inspiration that I've been given. And I'm creating an interfaith church and a church of human consciousness. So let me begin. So before I get into that, my story. I was a horrible person. I was an atheist before, and being an atheist didn't make me a horrible person. There should have been a big comma or pause. And I was a horrible person. I was all logic, no emotion. I hurt a lot of people in my life, and that energy was given back to me tenfold when I lost everything. I was going to commit suicide. There's this whole long sob story I could give you about my weakness in that time. But if you want to know more about that, there's more on my YouTube channel, Reasonable Idiot. I was going to commit suicide, and I started living, I made the conscious decision to kill myself, and I started living my life. Because I had a plan. I was going to do some things, take, maybe set my kids up, give them something, for for their life, and it was, like I said, it was a dumb, decision, but it was probably the best decision I made because it allowed me to, cut through the stuff in my life that was, causing me depression. It was able to, when I decided to commit suicide, it was the first time I'd ever cut through my own mental illness and just, and said, you know what, yeah, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. And that was a very liberating feeling. It was the first time I felt power in my life, and oddly enough, one of the first times I'd felt happy because I knew my suffering was going to end. But because it was the first time I'd ever felt happy, those happy feelings were amazing to me. I had never felt that in my life, and I got to experience the world emotionally for the first time. And when I experienced the world emotionally for the first time, it opened my eyes to so many things. I was an atheist when I started this. I didn't believe there was any God. I thought we were just here in a chaotic, chaotic universe, right? But things started happening in my life that I couldn't explain, because when my mindset changed, things got better, and I couldn't explain it. So that intuitively drew me my curiosity. You give me something good, I'm gonna question it. I don't accept good things. Just as I question the bad things, I question the good things as well. And ultimately, through allowing myself to experience my emotions, the more I allowed myself to experience them, and the more that I controlled them, the more I started a path of self-mastery, spiritual alchemy, if you will, and learned, the true meaning of, alchemy and transmutation, and transmuting my feelings. And this helped me with my mental illnesses, my depression, my anxiety. And when I learned, how to transmute well and better, it got better and better. And my self-control got better and better. And the more I could control myself, the more unbelievable things would happen in my life. It's the most mind-boggling thing I'd ever experienced. Why is it that when I control myself to the extent that I do, and almost, effortlessly can find opportunities, effortlessly find creative inspiration, effortlessly find these things because I've, mastered myself, and I'm continuing to master myself more and more. and this growth has been phenomenal, and I want other people to experience this growth, and I've seen it replicated in other religions, right? It doesn't, and I've only seen this this type of, you know, amazing transformation in most religions. It's, you know, it's you know, I think most people have a, you know, excuse my language, but a half-assed belief in God, right? Because they don't practice the things, right? They just show up on church one day a week to hop into that vibration, and that vibration lasts a week almost, you know, unless something bad happens. If nothing bad happens, you can coast that vibration until you go to church on Wednesday, you know, and then re-engage into that vibrational frequency, or, you know, re-engage on Sundays, or whenever you go to church, you re-engage. That's why, you know, there's all, you see prophets popping up all the time, you know, and so seeing that, I wanted to simplify it, because, you know, they all touch on the same thing. All the religions touch on the same thing, right? So, you know, when I, you know, changed my life, you know, I am redeemed through my own personal path to God, and you can do it too, right? And you don't have to engage in idol worship to do this. So why a church after this? You know, so I think religion has gotten a bad reputation due to how small few have twisted the knowledge. What's been revealed in me, the perfect order of God, you know, will bridge the gap between science that we know and science that we do not. And the science that we do not is what has been collected as religion, right? Religion is the science we know nothing of, right? That's what religion has always been. And when you look at the text from that point of view, like, wow, this is, you know, the best thing that they could come up with at the time. But when you really dig into it and you understand how brilliant a lot of these things really are, when it comes down to their cadences, just the way that it's mathematically put together, it's, you know, it's phenomenal. And you can use these religious texts for a lot of different things, you know. And so with proper usage of religion, you can live a mentally healthy life, right? I started using religion to, you know, to love and instead of fear, you know, and when you use it in that way, there are phenomenal results, right? And you don't have to try to force your beliefs on anyone. You just plant seeds and keep it moving, because at the end of the day, no one else matters in this world but you, to you, right? And what you're going to do with your life. And I lived 30 years my way, and it was horrible. I was depressed, I was miserable, and when I went through what I went through, I said, I'm going to do things different. And it just happens to be that this is the opposite end of the spectrum, which, you know, from where I was living. And I've been happier living this life than I ever have been in my entire life. And my circumstances never, you know, hadn't changed. Like, I'm in the process of rebuilding my life. And, you know, and this was something I was trying to hold off on starting a church until I, you know, until I could do it with my own money, and God continuously shows me I can't do things alone. Right? Refuses. I'll get to the closest I can get by myself, and then the goal gets further away. The more I reject the idea of, you know, bringing other people into the fold. So, you know, learning that from my life, you know, I've been more open to suggestion, I've been more open to advice, I've been more open to everything. And I try to keep an open mind moving forward, right? So, you know, I think, you know, ultimately, church and science, religion and science, are the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. And this is how we're going to reconcile the left and the right hemispheres. Because when you, as a human, start letting your left and right brain handshake more efficiently, you're going to see dramatic changes in your life. So why is this church different? So transparency. I will publicly show how the church spends its money. I want full public accountability for this church, right? You know, this church will be focused on solving the problems of our times. We will identify problems in society and begin to assemble task force to come up with modern solutions. Like, what other vehicle will allow me to use 90% of the money to solve problems? I should be able to pay the staff with 10%. And all church staff will be paid reasonably. And as the head of the church, I'll be paid a flat fee, $3,000 per month. I think that's reasonable. If you don't think it's reasonable, let's talk about it. I just think that's a reasonable number. Because we're reasonable people. And that's all I'll ever take from the church, right? And I'd like to get to the point where I don't have to take anything from it. And I'll get to that later. But, I want this church to, I've always wondered, why church didn't seem to work, or why there were still so many problems in the world when there's so many churches. There's so many churches that there's still problems in the world. Why? Well, that's because people, are running churches based on people, people's order of things and on how people think things should work. Well, God revealed in me how God thinks things should work. And if you run a church the way God intended, I think you'll see drastic results, because when you live your life the way God intended, you see drastic results. So if you do things the way God intended, you see drastic results. And so why interfaith? Well, human consciousness, right? Consciousness contains everything that we've ever thought of, right? Anything that we've ever thought of exists in consciousness. We may not have accessed it yet. So the universe is mathematical, right? And every religion is like a different formula, right? A different mathematical formula for something. So religious texts, religious art is our recorded history of everything important to living in harmony with our planet, with our existence. And these are the things that God has revealed in me. And more is being revealed as I live. And interfaith church will allow us to collaborate and understand the true order of God, right? And understand that, there is no one religion that's better than the other. Haha, guess what? We're all the lowest vibration frequency of the Creator, right? We're all the lowest vibration frequency. That's it. Simple and plain. We exist through God, and God exists through us, right? So who is God in this religion, in this church? God is the unfathomable, the unknown, the math of the universe. Only through expanding our consciousness will we be able to understand the advanced mathematical concepts. So, what has been revealed in me is that we will never meet the Creator on this plane, right? In the body, right? Because the unknown, the unfathomable power that it's creating and constantly expanding the universe doesn't have time to come back here and coddle you, right? It's busy creating, and it's constantly creating. Like, that's the balance, right? God constantly creates. It's out there expanding the universe as we speak now, right? And God exists through everything, and through everything God exists. Think of a single point of light, and all of that light being spread across the universe, and it goes through all these different filters, and it filters down to this. It slows the light down. All the filters slow the light down to a point where we can turn it into matter, right? And now this light is matter, and we've been able, through quantum entanglement, we've created this. God has created matter, and it's just a low vibrations. We are low vibrational creatures because we're matter, right? But we matter. Haha. I used to be a comedian too. You'll learn about that if you join the church. But not. But anyway, so we have a unique opportunity as humans to serve our true purpose, and the existence was created by God to reason, and the supreme perfect Creator is constantly creating, like I said, and the system is perfect. It is perfect. There are fail-safes that keep you from gaining too much power in your mind that will destroy you, right? There are tests. God tests you. And it's not like He's coming down or he or she or it, God, it's not like God's coming down and saying, here's the test. These tests are built into your brain. Right? Everything God needs you to experience is already pre-programmed into your brain. You just have to access it, right? You just have to access it with the flow of your energy. And as you access it with the flow of your energy, right, you will have things revealed in you because you see things from a different perspective. And your perspective is just as important as mine, right? And you need to learn yourself and learn how to express that which is in you so that God can reveal more answers. Like, I guarantee today that there is somebody in this world sitting there with the keys to immortality in their mind, on this plane, the keys to deep space travel locked in their brain, because they just they can't control the flow of their energy to access it. And we need to get everybody controlling their brain to the point where they're accessing this information, and we can live in harmony again. I mean, think about infinite energy. Think about all this. All these things are possible, right? Look at the technology we have today. We, as humans, have finally figured out quantum mechanics to an extent that allows us to run experiments. That's huge, right? That's huge. And we have to look at technology and our pursuit of science in pursuit of God, right? And the closer we get, the farther away we are. Because then we realize God is creating, and God doesn't want to be bothered, right? But God has created systems. God has created systems to, for us to exist, right? So, let's see. Who's God? All right, spiritual goals of the church, right? The spiritual goals of the church is to teach people that there are many paths to God. Through respecting our God-given differences, we can expand our consciousness in a safe and healthy manner, right? Right now, people are out expanding their consciousness in dangerous manners. They're going and they're studying occult science, and they're using, they're trying to contact entities and demons, and all those really are just archetypes in the brain, right? Those, you access those in your brain, and you tell your brain, hey brain, do this pattern, and your brain does this pattern, and you see the world the way that you've intended to see it, right? So through understanding and reconciling the unknown, a human can focus on more important things like creating a better world instead of focusing on selfish needs and going to, through these occult things and just to feel mentally healthy, right? You shouldn't have to hide what you believe to feel mentally healthy, right? And part of being mentally healthy is having a healthy reconciliation of the unknown, right? Having a healthy reconciliation of the unknown is important to mental health, right? Regardless of what it is. And I will, and I will prove, I'll take the rest of my life to prove that, right? That, having a healthy reconciliation of the unknown is vital to mental health. And part of what I have been charged with from God is to help cure mental illness, right? Depression. I've cured it in myself, and I want to cure it in others, right? I don't suffer from depression any longer because I've expanded my consciousness and understand the world in a much, much different, place now. And yeah, I still get sad. Yeah, I still feel things, right? But I have control over that, right? Because, God said, hey, here's the control. He showed me. She showed me. I use both pronouns for God because God is the unknown, powerful, entity, right? And it exists through all. There's a divine feminine. There's a divine masculine. That, they're both God, and you can, that's why, it's important for you to find your own path, because there are better ways to worship, and there are new ways to worship, and there are, better ways to appreciate what we have, right? And you can find a unique way to do it, and as long as it's not hurting anyone or imposing your will on anyone, then it's fine. Right? As long as you're not hurting anyone or imposing your will, then you can find your own path to God. Write your own Bible, right? Start your own church, right? And let it evolve. So, I think this will be the last church we'll ever need. So, start your church in with this kind of mindset, right? This will be the archetype for the new church, right? There will be no more need for fighting and strife. We'll accept all beliefs and we'll categorize them into a master codex of human consciousness. New paths to God are encouraged, like I said. But God will never ask you to harm anyone. The Supreme Creator does not need you to intervene with life. We are the balance. Everything on this plane of existence was created to be finite, and God is infinite. There's your balance. That's all you need to know, right? It's simple. It's this and it's that, right? We add the complexities, and the complexities are good for us, right? They're good for humans, but the complexities do nothing for God, right? The complexities help us reason. The complexities help us determine, how best we can serve each other. Right? How can I help you better? How can you help your friend better? How can you help this person better? Right? How can we attain that, mindset of only creating like the Creator, right? And say, I've already created systems for destruction. I don't need you to destroy. I don't need you to destroy anything in this world. I don't need you to destroy another human because I've already put systems in place, right? There's systems in place that keep the balance, right? You're not going to throw the balance. We could fill this entire galaxy up with creation and still not disturb the balance, right? With creation. Adding extra destruction, however, does throw off the balance, right? Because that's what being born of sin means. We're born, to decay. Everything is finite, right? So if we're adding to the destruction, we're creating a creation imbalance, right? There's too much destruction, and we all need to start creating, right? We're destroying at a rate that is outpacing creation, phenomenally, right? It's ridiculous, and once we start to create things and embrace art, and we let our hemispheres of the brain handshake, oh man, you're gonna see a different world. You're gonna see a completely different world. We can do this in our lifetime, and the people you think that are out to hurt you will see it. They'll see it. They'll say, "Oh, yeah, that is a good way that we can do things. The God order of way is a good way to do things, and we can all enjoy luxury, right? And we can enjoy this world, but only the people who can live in harmony with this world are going to be allowed to enjoy it." Right? Because, that's just how it is. That's how it was before we took our knowledge and used it purely for self. We don't use the knowledge anymore for harmony. And that's the problem. So what can you expect of me, right? I'm not perfect. I'm an artist. I want to do art. I see religion as art. I see everything as art, right? As an artist, I want to put my mark on any form of art that I am intuitively drawn to because I understand the power of inspiration, right? Even if my church doesn't take off, I hope it inspires someone to do something like it, and I hope it takes off because this is what we need. If I do it or if someone else does it, this is what we need. And that's why, as an artist and as a creator, right, these are why I believe these things, right? And once I started living this way, my life changed dramatically, and God revealed these things in me. And so I'm going to live my purpose of inspiration, and my purpose of inspiration is to do that, is to be inspirational, is to chase things that are bigger than life and try to change things that we think we can't change. Because if I can change one thing that we think we can't change, then I've inspired 1 million people. And if I can inspire 1 million people, I'll change the world overnight. But if I can inspire one person today, I might, I'm starting to change the world through inspiration. Inspiration is the most important thing in this world that we have as humans. And we have to understand what we are as humans and where we belong on this order, right? We are the lowest vibration. I don't care if you're the richest human or the poorest human. You are equal because you're the lowest vibration of this existence, and you can rise above, right? But you have to, put that work in. You have to be dedicated to yourself, to growth, because that's all you need to do is grow and create. Become a tree and produce fruit. Don't be a weed and choke things out, right? and that's the thing is, in me, it's like, I'm no better than anyone. I'm not perfect. I'll make mistakes, but my intent will never be to harm. I'll never intentionally deceive anyone, right? I'm trying to walk this line of science and religion, and it's hard, right? It's very hard. I have to have an open mind, but I have to respect a scientific process, right? And new things are thrown at me every day. So we've had enough of, this intentionally deceit. We've had enough bad stuff in our existence. We have the technology to move forward in a world that truly cares for everyone. We can fix these problems. We can fix global warming probably in 10 years. We can get the right people together. What if they kill me because of this? Then you'll know I'm right, and you can do what you need to do to make the world better, right? Because I'll already have been set free, right? But if you're in this plane, then there are people suffering, and we need to stop the suffering. We need to stop the suffering. We need to live in harmony, and we need to move forward with that, right? It's important that we return to harmony, and that's ultimately why I'm starting this church, right? And it's going to grow, it's going to evolve. Like I said, it's going to incorporate human consciousness. We're going to look at every angle, right? I want you to come to my church, and I want you to bring your thoughts and ideas, and I want you to discuss them, and we can, I want it to be a collaborative church, right? Don't come to listen to me because I'm just going to preach mindset. I'm going to preach self-control, and then I want to just talk about some possibilities to inspire you, and then I want to bring other people to inspire you. It's not going to be a church where you got to follow these rules or you're going to go to hell. No, it's a church where we come to collaborate and talk about human consciousness and explore and experiment what we can really do with our lives and with our bodies. And we just need to make sure that we're doing it in a safe and healthy way, and no one's getting hurt, right? And no one's using this information to hurt other people like they've been doing, right? So I just want to change the world. Like, somebody's got to do it. Why hasn't it been done? Because that tells me one of two things. Either people know what I know and they're not doing anything about it, and that's wrong, or they don't know what I know and they need to know, right? Because I see a world that's better for everyone. I can see it, and I'm sure you can too. Just take some time to look at what we have. Look at the abundance we live in. It's about an intelligent use of what we have. We're not intelligently using what we have because we're not following a perfect order, right? And if you can follow the perfect order, you will see the results. And I'm sick and tired of these light workers, love and light. It's this, it's disassociation. Wake up, right? It's disassociation, right? Yes, you can live in a Zen-like state and move off to the hills, and you personally can live in harmony. But what good does that do if you're not inspiring someone else to do the same, right? And there's, I've been in that mindset. I went to that Zen place and I lived there for a while, and it was disassociation, and I pulled myself out of it because I'm a self-master, and I pulled myself out of it, and I realized what was going on, right? I realized it was just a loop in the brain. It was just a loop. These are all just loops. We just live loops, and you can control your loop. And when you realize how powerful your brain is and how efficient it is and how much it loves efficiency, then you understand why we're so lazy, right? Because we have the knowledge of the universe inside us. We just have to access it. And we access it through surrendering, right? Surrendering to a higher power. understand you're nothing, right? And that's the only way you're ever going to be something. Is you have to grow and emerge. You have to start as nothing and to become something. And I think everyone has that potential to be great. Everyone does. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be good at this, but I know that by trying and by getting in your face with it, you may take it and you may do it better than me. And I'm all for that. Because like I said earlier, money's not my motivation with any of this. Right? And you may have a different way of doing it. You may want to make more money, but like I said, I'm going to make money with my art. I'm going to make money with my business ventures. I don't need the church to make money. I need the church to fix problems. I need the church to create think tanks to fix problems. Because that's what a church should do. A church should take care of the people. All the people. Not just your Christians. Not just your Muslims. Not just your Buddhists. All the people. All of them. And that's what this church is. For all the people. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope it inspired you, and I hope it just inspired you. Whether you donate or not, alright? I hope it just inspired you, because I know my life's going to be fine, whether this church thing works or not. Right? This is just something I have to do. Right, to inspire. Maybe it'll change my life. Maybe it won't. It doesn't matter, right? Because I'm still gonna go out and I'm still gonna treat people the way I treat people. And I'm still gonna be good, right? Because I've had enough of this bad stuff. I lived my life, I lived enough, and it brought me nothing but, All right, here's the thing, right? Here's life. If you do bad stuff. Like, if you impose your will on people, deceive people, you have to keep doing it to run from your energy. And this whole world is energy, right? But if you want to change, you have to go through your energy, right? You have to go through it. So you have to face all of the bad things you've done, all the deceit you've done to people. And guess what? When you face it, you have a choice. When you want to change, you can face it. And when you face it, you can change that outcome. Because you'll live it. You'll live that loop. When you start to... And that's what's going on in this world right now, is everyone's running from the bad things they're doing by doing more bad things. Because when they try to do good things, they're faced with that energy, and they think, oh no, the world doesn't work that way. No, you put that energy out there, you deal with it, and you go through it, and you come out the other side better, because you make better decisions. That's how it works. Simple and plain, right? You do bad things, you're going to have to keep doing bad things. You're going to have to outrun those bad things until you die. But guess what? That energy's still there, and it's going to follow your family. It's going to follow you. It's going to follow your bloodline forever. That's what a generational curse is. But you can break it in one generation by making a better decision, by redeeming your bloodline, because you have existed forever. This is just who you are now. And that energy's followed you. And you have to deal with it. And I've been dealing with my energy, and let me tell you, it's a hell of a ride. But it's been the best thing that's ever happened in my life, because I don't have to deal with some of that stuff anymore. And when you don't have to deal with some of that energy you put out anymore because you made the right decision and you saw it and you did something different and you changed it in someone else, changes it in you. And that's real. And you will see the results. But you're gonna have to face the music. Right? That's what it is, facing the music. Where do you think all these sayings came from? They're all part of the logos, right? The fingerprint of God. Right? Learn the systems. Right? If we learn the systems of God, then we learn how to operate effectively in this system. And this benefits the entire world, not just a 1% or not just anything. Right? Because there are going to be those who do it and there's going to be those who don't. And those who don't will continue to live their life, how they live their life until the next big catastrophe happens. But when the next big catastrophe happens, guess what? The people on this wave are going to be looking out for each other. We're going to have things in place, and we're going to have things, everything's a loop, right? Everything happens over and over again. We're due for a catastrophe. Go talk to the conspiracy theorists, right? So, know who to look for after the catastrophe happens. It's like, I'm not trying to be a doomsday sayer, but this, a catastrophe could happen to anyone at any time, right? And it's how you deal with it. And whether it's a personal catastrophe, a regional catastrophe, or a worldwide catastrophe, right? We're looking at wars. Like, we have a chance to stop our own catastrophes and only deal with natural catastrophes. Like, why are we creating more catastrophes? Makes no sense. It makes no sense. So the only way to stop it is to change. And the only way to change is to realize you're going to go through your energy. That's why people don't change, because they don't want to go through their energy. Do it, and you'll see how much better it can be, right? And that's where faith comes in. You got to have faith that's going to get better, and it will. And maybe something my church figures out with human consciousness by being a collaborative church instead of a dictating church might help you reconcile that and move forward and be a healthy adult. Be a healthy human, right? And enjoy your life, right? And create. Creating is what we're created for, guys. Come on. It's not hard. It's not hard. We can do this. We can do this. I believe in you.